Perrin Lovett for Prepper News Weekly on Friday, October 5th, 2018. Happy week and weekend to you folks out there. Got some news this week about Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's spy site that so many people are in love with, and that's where you unfortunately can still find the Freedom Prepper page and group, which is, I think, catering now to people who just don't like politics or religion in their preps. But they're okay with Facebook, Google, the Chinese, DARPA, and everybody else in the world spying on them. We had another data breach. They don't know how many accounts were breached. They're saying 50 to 90 million, which probably means, double or triple that. Nothing to worry about, though. Your cat videos and the pictures of what, your cousin ate for dinner last night, they're still there. The fact that you're being tracked is, nothing to worry about. And the news, if you're freedom-minded, it gets worse every single day. We've known for a while that Facebook has backdoor access to more than 10,000 websites and apps. We know that they have a lot of cross interface for login. You can log into a lot of different places just with your Facebook app, which is usually open and running on most people's phones. And they call these things, the access mechanism is called a token, which is like a cookie, except it gives a certain degree of control in addition to mere tracking. Hackers have allegedly gotten in and have been able to steal passwords, and apparently fixing Facebook on your end won't necessarily fix the other problems. You'll have to go in and manually hunt those down, which would be a lot easier to do if you would just start by deleting your Spybook account, which I've been recommending for months now. But anyway, if you're into the cat videos and seeing grandmama post those babies, and little dogs, and all the utterly insane 90 IQ talking of the people, stay on there. Facebook, Twitter may actually be worse than television from an intellectual standpoint, and certainly from a spying and freedom perspective. Anyway, nobody cares about that stuff. If you do, you understand the DARPA link. Now, DARPA, who also apparently is trying to engineer some sort of agricultural bioweapon using a virus to. They said they want to boost immunity in plants within one generation. Of course, they could probably use the technology, if perfected, to just wipe out crops, which may be a convention violation, but we don't really have law anymore. Now, not to get political or anything, go back to Facebook, just go. We've got the Kavanaugh circus continuing. The vote is set for this weekend. I'm still 99% sure that he will be confirmed. He's probably not the absolute best candidate, but he's the best one that we have for the Supreme Court. All of the allegations against him so far have completely and utterly fallen apart. Some, actually, prosecutions and investigations have started into many of these obviously false accounts. But that doesn't stop the left. Those people that are in it with us, we're all in this together, except that, half the population are a bunch of insane enemies that want you dead. And will stop at nothing to get their way. They're in full meltdown mode. They're protesting all over. They're getting arrested. The good news is that apparently some Republicans, at least, certainly Donald Trump, has their playbook, and we're now using it against them. And it's fascinating to watch this thing unfold. Fascinating to see all these allegations made, not only with a complete lack of evidence or corroboration, but also with self-defeating information within the claims themselves. Felony self-defeating, multiple felony self-defeating problems. And yet, half the country believes, they believe their narrative, they stick to it, and some of these folks are willing to get violent. How violent? I don't think we've really seen anything yet, but if you look closely, they do drop hints all over the place about their more deadly intentions. Most of these people are crazy. Most of them are out of shape. They're wimps. They're loudmouths. They're not going to do anything. Others, though, I'm not so sure about. I was reading some fascist, anarchist tweets the other day, and some of these folks apparently have plans and know how to execute them. They were wanting to promote violence, outright war in America, but they were concerned that, like down here in the South, how do we engage in warfare here in the South, where we're so overwhelmed and outnumbered and outgunned by all these red state rednecks? Well, apparently some of them have read Sun Tzu, and the advice is very good for them. Lay low, stay quiet, blend in, and then when the time is right, you strike. And of course, now this is just fine. If you're a conservative or a libertarian, you're going to get kicked off Twitter just for being alive. These folks are like the Islamofascist. They can post about murders and war and bombings and shootings all they want to, and get very specific with it. It's okay. That's not a term violation, which is another reason not to be on these idiot social media sites. Not only are they spying on you, they're actively working against you. Support that, if you will. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, as so many of these folks are out of shape on the left, so many Americans are out of shape, I saw yet another study, and I think I've actually mentioned this before in the past year or two. New study shows that something like 60+% of U.S. military personnel are either overweight or obese, which is actually less than the number for the general population, which is like 70 or 75%. I would be interested to see how these numbers break down for young men in the military. I would suspect that many are merely overweight because they carry a little more muscle than normal. Say you're 5'10", your top weight normally should be about 170, but you weigh 180 because you work out all the time. You're in really good shape. So I don't think it's quite as bad as it could be. It's not as bad as what we see in the general population. And of course, the Marine Corps has the lowest percentage of overweight folks. Just little things to entertain yourself with. I saw a funny joke. This is some people find this funny. People that think will find this funny. Other people will probably break down crying about it. Somebody put a little meme out that said that Dr. Ford looks like Beaker the Muppet with a blonde wig, and she does actually. But of course we know that Beaker, this is nothing about Beaker or any of the Muppets. Beaker was not a liar. Beaker is not a felon. He's not a CIA plant, and he's not a deep state agent. So, make of that what you will. And I'm going to make off to the gym now, where I need to go work out and then get a lot of things done. You folks have a great weekend, and I'll try to be back next week here for more Prepper News Weekly.